What's up guys, my name is Tom, welcome back to another video. Here back to my F1 2020 My Team career mode. Today is time for episode 8, the Azerbaijan GP at the streets of Baku. If you haven't watched the previous episode guys, the Monaco Grand Prix, I highly recommend to go check it out. The link is going to be in the description. It was an exciting race to say the least, spoiler alert, but we're going to focus today in the streets of Baku, one of the hardest tracks in the calendar and one of the tracks that I struggle as well. But before jumping into it, we have some days before jumping into the track. We're going to put some reaction training to our teammate Luca Giotto, power equipment upgrade and durability, so investing in these two departments because we really need, especially around here, it requires a lot of straight line speed. We're going to buy this chassis upgrade before skipping the time forward. But like I said, I want to invest in my teammate. Like I said in this last episodes, I want to focus in my team because at the moment he's not performing well. I'm going to give the benefit of the doubt and let him race for the rest of the season if he doesn't deliver the results, because I'm investing every single time in the beginning of our episode on Luca. But if he doesn't deliver the episodes, the thing that I'm going to do is just boot out the team. But for now, I'm going just to give the benefit of the doubt, see how his progress is going to be. But there he is, the progress that we've been making, and to help him more, we're going to buy our first upgrade to the personnel, and it's going to be at the simulator. And this is going to help him to improve his pace, which is a thing that we really need in the race, just his pace, in order to not make mistakes and be consistent, which is a thing that is absolutely key in nowadays Formula 1. But here we are on the garage, on our headquarters. Before jumping into practice, I'm not going to show practice, it was just more than same. But there he is, Haas getting close, and I think he's just a pixel behind Renault, and we're making slow progress, not as fast as Haas, but we're getting closer and closer to the midfield, like I've been saying in these last few episodes. So it doesn't seem that we're making progress, but we're making, and Williams starting to get a little bit further behind, so they need to start to bring some upgrades to these race weekends, otherwise they are going to be basically screwed for the rest of the season. But here we are in Q1. Is going to be quite a challenge based on the practice. Was quite sketchy. I didn't race for like a week in this game, and I jumped straight into practice on career mode, so pace was a little bit sketchy, but I think the pace is solid. I'm not running with 102 difficulty, I'm with 101, and we crossed the line. It was a terrible lap time. It was a 132 flat, but like I said in the other episodes, my first lap is always banker, and it's like it makes me look like I'm an absolute play driver, not the best person in the game by far. But at the moment, last place, but there's a lot of time left on the table. And join me on this lap into the first corner, and we're already gaining 210, so just see how much we are building the confidence. Make sure to hit the 100 brake marker, make sure to hit the apex, but just slightly, because these cars are absolutely lethal around this circuit. Full tense up as we open the DRS and going through the many straights of this circuit. Brake more or less in the middle of the 100 and 150 brake marker, and we missed a little bit, just slightly, the apex, and this braking zone is a little bit tricky to me, and with that we missed a little bit the apex. But look at the time that we're gaining in this lap, so just see how slow was the first one. Here you have to compromise the line and make sure to slow in and fast out. It's the way to do this corner. Make sure to not hit the curb in the last apex, because you're absolutely going to kill your lap, or you're going to lose all the momentum. This corner, make sure to go in first gear, just momentarily to get that extra rotation, like people say in this community. Gotta love the extra rotation of JD. But here, after the castle session, one of my favorite corners, where you have to be absolutely committed. But after that, we have those two corners, which I always suffer in, no matter the game is, a lot of understeer, and it's no exception for this game. Make sure to hit the curb once it hits the curb, and we locked up a little bit, so close to put my car into the wall and my qualifying getting to an early end. But as you can see, almost gaining a second on this second lap on this fresh set of soft tires, and now it's just a waiting game. Make sure to get the best line as you can to not to lose unnecessary time, and it's absolutely flat out with these F1 cars. And now it's just wait for the line for this, I believe it is 2 kilometers start finish straight, which is going to provide good racing thanks to the DRS and slipstream on Sunday. But we're going to improve by almost a second, which is going to be enough to put us in Q2. For the meantime, is going to be, we set a 131 flat, and at the moment we are in P15, but we're going to fit our third set of soft tires, and I think things are going to be really tight. And we had to let, actually it was the computer that let one of the AlphaTauris go through. But as you can see, we are very tight on time, and I can tell you that unfortunately we're not going to set another time, and that's the end of the day. It's going to be P18. We're going to start this race in 18th place, so I think I could have done a bit better. There was some mistakes in the second lap, but it was just a bad management of time. I was in P17 when I was starting the lap, so I was in the elimination zone, but then we were demoted one place. I think it was Daniel Kvyat that gained the place, but it's not the end of the world. Luca, unfortunately, once again in last place, beaten by Nicholas Latifi, which the AI is not really good, so it's not a very good reference in this game, the AI of Nicholas Latifi. But fingers crossed we can get a good race. Maybe we can see some 2 stoppers. I think I'm going to stick with the 1 stop because we're going to have the free choice of starting tire. So it's not the end of the world. It always provides crazy racing. Then we've seen some underdog performances in real life and in the game as well, if you're familiarized with my channel. So without further ado, let's go to Sunday, the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Let's go.
Good afternoon and welcome to Baku. This was the arena, if you think back to 2017, of one of the most eventful races of modern history, with controversy behind the safety car, last-second overtakes, and a historic podium for Williams and for Lance Stroll. So let's find out what lies in store for us this year. It's time for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. With 20 turns and a length of 3.7 miles, Baku City Circuit in the heart of the Azerbaijan capital is a real test of a driver's endurance, patience and precision. 90-degree corners through Sector 1 lead into a tightening uphill sprint as we start to circle around the old city. Then a 1.4-mile chase flat out through Sector 3 towards the finish line. A warm welcome to Anthony Davidson, who's beside me in the commentary box today. Now, let's kick off our conversation with Alexander Albon. As ever, the threat of unreliability is never far away, and indeed they'll be starting out of position today due to a power unit component change. So it's going to be a difficult task to move forward from there.
But on the bright side, at least those fresh components can help them maintain the power they need to come through the pack. I expect to see them take a more aggressive approach today to make up for the compromised start.
Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's race. Lewis Hamilton lines up on pole position, and Valtteri Bottas will line up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Leclerc, Vettel, Max Verstappen, and Raikkonen, Stroll, Ricciardo, Giovinazzi, and Lando Norris. Gasly, Sainz, Esteban Ocon, and Magnussen. Albon. They'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty. Thomas, Romain Grosjean, and George Russell. Latifi, Giotto, Perez, and Daniel Kvyat completes the grid. It's almost time for the lights to go out, so let's head down to the track and get this Grand Prix underway.
We came close to scoring points last race. Let's make it happen today.
Thanks, Jeff, and welcome guys to the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. It's going to be much easier than Monaco to score points because this is a track where you can overtake without any issue, especially in the start-finish straight. Strategy-wise, Jeffy wants me to start on the softs, but that's not the best idea. I'm going to start the mediums and then finish on the hards, and that is going to be our race. We've been promoted to positions thanks to grid penalties, but 5 red lights for the Azerbaijan Grand Prix, episode 8 of my team career mode, and it's lights out and away we go, and we have a good start against Alexander Albon and the Haas of Kevin Magnussen, and we are already 2 places. We're going to have down inside of Esteban Ocon and Carlos Sainz, and that's us into P15, and Albon managed to go all the way around the outside, and he's already up to the points that he shoots on the inside of Lando Norris and one of the Alfa Romeos as well. He's starting on a soft tire, so no surprise, he's starting with a 2 softer comparative tire of many people here that's starting on the hot comparative tires. But at the moment we are in P12 in these early stages of the Grand Prix, and confirmation there is Alexander Albon EP10, so a monster of a start for the Red Bull, and we have our teammate Luca Giotto going side by side with the McLaren of Lando Norris. I think you could see in the background, but we skip a little bit forward until the 100th lap, and we're gaining and gaining on Lando Norris, getting a little bit slidey through the start finish straight through the flat out right hand. We're weaving absolutely everywhere around this track, but we are side by side with Lando Norris. Lewis Hamilton setting the pace, so he's definitely in a league of his own maybe in this Grand Prix. The Mercedes is showing to be really strong, but we have to focus on that battle. We are in front, we have the nose in front. I was saying Magnussen, why? Norris gets his elbows out, he loses a little bit the back end, and he might come back, but we're going to just shut the door, as you can see, getting really aggressive, because that's my nature of driving basically is my driving nature. I'm a really aggressive guy when it comes to defending, so apologies for that. I'm kind of a Grosjean guy. But we're going to press on. We are ahead of Norris. That is on a hot tire, so we're going to have some some advantage. And the other McLaren on the hot tires, it is Carlos Sainz, and he's trying to go around the outside of our teammate through the 90-degree macadam of many of the 90-degree corners that are around here. And despite being on a soft comparative tires, Giotto loses the position by Sainz. So just see how much he's struggling during this weekend. And at the moment we are in P11, getting closer to the points, but we have a lot of work to do. Albon definitely is going to stick with the 2-stop, but first we have to worry about Norris. Managed to stretch our legs a little bit by outraking a little bit around the side, but he gets a good traction in that McLaren, and he gets up into P11. But I'm not done yet. I'm going to try to take a tighter line, but he brake checks a little bit. So well thought of Norris, being very smart, but he's just wait a little bit onwards to the end of the lap, and we have DRS, and we're going to get some slipstream, not using overtake mode. And I decided to just giving a little bit of a scare, make sure to that he goes defensive, and we would just be patient, maybe try to use Norris as as a tow, and maybe we can get Albon, because sooner or later the soft tires are going to start to get slower and slower. But Norris seems to be really slow, because the slipstream in this game is absolutely powerful. And there we go. Basically we're going to try to go run it. I'm going to give him a little bit of a pinch, as you can see, but no contact. And I'm being aggressive, but I'm being really clean. So that's for me the perfect driving style. And we are seeing the guys in front of us. This is one of the racing point overtaking the Alfa Romeo. It is Lance Stroll that is ahead, but he's not on the podium like in 2017. And the softer comparative tires runners are stopping, and definitely they are going with the 2-stop, because they're fitting the mediums, and that's not. Maybe we're going to finish ahead of these tires. We'll see. We have to be really consistent, but at the same time we have to be fast and nurse these tires till the end, because the tire wear is pretty high around here, especially for the rears, because there's a lot of slow corners, and you have to be really careful with the traction. But we have now a safety car, because George Russell is out of the Grand Prix, and that was really unfortunate, because I could have pit, and I took the decision that I'm going to pit in this lap. Luca gets in. And yeah, basically it's going to be a free stop, and we're going to do the same strategy of the guys that were starting on the soft and going to change to the hard. But there is a reason that the safety car ended. It's because George Russell, his Azerbaijan Grand Prix comes to an early end. These guys were pitting just a moment before the safety car. You can see the safety car at the back ground that is exiting the pits. He's just behind Kimi Raikkonen, and he's going to fit. We'll see. He's going to fit the hard tires, which I think is the best choice. The 1-stop I think is the way to go at Azerbaijan. And there he is, the safety car with a lot of cars. Hopefully it's not going to be any sort of contact. And yeah, I'm filming the safety car and also close to Magnussen, as you can see. Magnussen almost made contact with the safety car. And if you guys don't know, if you made just a single contact with the safety car, just a single pixel, is an instant disqualification, and Magnussen was really close to that. But yeah, like I said, this is going to be our strategy. Coming back to our POV, we're going to dress a brand new set of hard tires, and we're going to cross a line in that compound. So we're going to give a bit of a stretch to these hard tires, because the safety car definitely changed our plans. And at the moment we are in P18, but some guys are on the mediums, like the likes of Ricardo. And there's some guys that stayed out, that started on the hards. You're going to see just now there is Valtteri Bottas at the moment leads the group, followed by Charles Leclerc, because these two overtook Hamilton during the first stint, and Hamilton is a little bit down the order, because these guys, Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris, they haven't stopped yet. They started on the hards and they started to stay out, and that resulted in at the moment a podium for Pierre Gasly. That would be really cool. And behind these two guys is Hamilton, followed by Verstappen and Vettel, and these guys already stopped. So it's time to get underway at the end of lap 9, which stopped lap 10. It wasn't a very good getaway, as you can see, but Bottas is still slowing everyone up, so that allows us to catch Albon. But if he started way earlier, I would have been screwed, because I wouldn't get any slipstream. Getting closer and closer to the gearbox of Alexander Albon. We're still with yellow flag, so I just want to get closer to him as much as I can, but without making contact, because that would be a drive-through penalty if I'm not wrong. But we're getting in the way once again. This Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and Albon already go defensive. Can I try to go round inside, make a lunge on the Red Bull? We'll see, and we're going to do so. But he converts that into massive dive bomb on Daniel Ricciardo and of the Alfa Romeo of Raikkonen, and that is a beautiful double overtake by our teammate. And now Giotto overtook us, and look at him! Wow, what a beautiful lunge! He's on the soft tire, so no surprise that that he has a lot of pace, and that was a silly strategy from Giotto. But wow, that was a beautiful dive bomb. But he's going to struggle a lot, and we're seeing, as you can see, in the top right-hand corner as we dive down inside of the lead closer Latifi that is on the soft tires. I'm struggling a little bit against these guys because I'm the harder comparative tire, I should say. And you could see in the top right corner that Hamilton cleared Lando Norris. I didn't clear at the moment because Lando Norris managed to defend that position. And this is for the lead of the race. Charles Leclerc trying to go round outside of Valtteri Bottas, and he gets the move done. He takes the lead of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Nice move by the Ferrari. Finally, Ferrari showing some pace against the Mercedes in season 1. And Hamilton managed to pass Norris in the same place that Leclerc took the lead. And we're seeing some by-side action between the Red Bull of Verstappen and the Ferrari of Sebastian Vettel. But Hamilton gets released, and now he's going to chase after Pierre Gasly that pulled away a lot, as you can see, because these guys were going side by side. So the dream of getting a podium for Toro Rosso once again at the moment is still alive. But as you can see, Verstappen going inside of Norris, so Norris definitely struggling a lot in the restart. So just to see how much pace the Red Bull has, basically the top 3 teams have against the McLaren, and we tried to go around the outside of Sergio Perez, but he just brake checked us, so tried to do a switchback, and we actually managed to pull through, and we are ahead of Racing Point. So a lot of hot-headed battles at the moment in this Azerbaijan Grand Prix, and the next victim, it is our teammate Luca Giotto, and sooner or later he's going to start to struggle a lot because these soft tires basically were so fast around this track, because it requires a lot of the rears, and at the moment we can't do anything. But sooner or later we're going to overtake. He's very slow. He's going to start to get slower and slower, and look how much we gain in terms of traction and corner speed out of turn 1. And he brake checks a little bit. I have to slam on the brakes, but you're going to see how much I get on the traction. He has the arrest. Everyone has the arrest because everyone is closer to each other, but we're going to have the advantage of the overtake button, getting closer and closer, and we're going to try to make a lunge around the side of our teammate, but he's going to try to convert that defense into an overtake on Ricciardo, but he can't do so. He loses a lot of momentum because he mounted the curb, and that allows us to get a chance on him, and that's us into P17. Thankfully it didn't make things hard for us. Remember that there's no team orders in this game, so it's not going to be hard for me. It's going to behave like if I was, you know, an AlphaTauri or a Williams. And this is the race that is ahead of us, just a few car lengths ahead of us, and this is Stroll on the inside of Kevin Magnussen, and just managed to squeeze him very aggressive, but somehow Magnussen finds the traction because Stroll lost a little bit the back end and all the momentum, and they're still side by side. This is going to allow us to catch these guys so quickly, and maybe we have points on our side in this Grand Prix, but it's a long race. We have to stop us, and in the closing stages they're going to be so much faster than us, and these guys are still side by side. Are going to see some side-by-side action into the castle session. No, because Magnussen managed to get the better traction against the Racing Point, and we remain still in P18, and Sergio Perez that overtook us. So great editing skills, Tom. You forgot to put once again an overtake, but yeah, it was through. It was on the soft, so you know, no surprise. And now the guys that started on made this restart on the softs and stopped are making another stop, and they're going to finish this race in the medium. So I think that's not the best strategy, but we have a virtual safety car because once again someone is out of the race. I believe it is Verstappen. There he is, Verstappen across the track, as you can see, and that should have been a crash. And yeah, that's another free position, and maybe this can be our quest to score points in this Grand Prix. So he wasn't in the stream of the AlphaTauri, and oh my goodness me, that is a huge smash into the wall. He totally lost the back end while trying to overtake one of the AlphaTauris, and this race comes to an end. Oh my goodness me, that is Lando Norris that smashed into the back of the Red Bull. He's still in the race, so very surprised. He just lost his front wing, but we're going to watch this POV. He had nowhere to go. It was really confusing, so the AI making some mistakes, and there he is, Norris. He's going to stop for a brand new front wing, but that was a big smash, as you can see. Lost the whole front wing, and basically his race is over because he's going to drop a lot of positions. Then we're already in green flags, and these guys are all behind the front wingless Norris, I can say. And I don't know if you can see a Tom Motorsport car, but it's ourselves, and we're getting closer and closer to this train, and Norris going painfully slow, as you can see, and we're gaining basically second by second because Norris doesn't have any front end at the moment, and you're going to see how much much we're going to gain, because no one can overtake, because it's not really an overtaking place. And look how much we're gaining to Alexander Albon, basically everyone. And this is a 2 wide, 3 in a row 2 wide, I can say. And we're getting closer and closer to these guys. DRS open, and one of the Alpha to Romeo's is Raikkonen. No! Alexander Albon brake checks as well, but we managed to save that. At the moment we are in P9, but that was so close to put our Azerbaijan Grand Prix to an early end, because we've been brake checked twice in a straight. And first it was Raikkonen, and then it was Alexander Albon. We're going to try to chase down now Lance Stroll, that seems to be a little bit slow, getting held up by the Tertiaire of Antonio Giovinazzi, and Sebastian Vettel is out of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. Definitely the F1 gods are on our side today, because it's going to be another free position, but we're going to watch the replay. So there he is, Norris, we're watching his POV, and he basically doesn't have any turn in the front, and he's going to be painfully slow without a surprise through these fast corners, and that is going to hold up everyone, because no one has nowhere to go. Well, Giovinazzi managed to get alongside him, and now it's going to be a drag race, but he's going to put full into the pits as well for the Renault and the Alfa Romeo. But that was so close between Alexander Albon. I can understand that Raikkonen brake checked me because he was going into the pits, but I don't understand why Albon brake checked me, because basically he wasn't going to pit, so I think there was no point, and I think there was no car in front of me. But as you can see, Norris has a 5-second time penalty, and I wonder if it is because of the collision with Verstappen. It wouldn't be a surprise, but there he is. We're watching Albon. He's kind of boxed in, but I don't understand why he broke here. That doesn't make any sense. He wasn't going the pits, he's on the hard tire, so obviously he's going till the end of the Grand Prix. But here we are, starting lap 17, and at the moment we are on the point, and we don't have to stop anymore. But remember that the guys behind us are so much faster cars, have so much better tires. But at the moment we don't have to worry about them. I just need to be calm, I need to be consistent, and I need to nurse these tires, because the tire wear is pretty high around here, and we seem some squabbling, so maybe we can get more positions, I don't know, because Lance Stroll is on the inside of Antonio Giovinazzi. At the moment we are in P6, as you can see, because more people are stopping in this race. Are the hard competitive tires, the lights of Pierre Gasly and Lando Norris. It's not anymore, because he lost his front wing, but we're chasing down Lance Stroll, and now it's going to be a drag race. He has the RS. Look at that Mercedes power, the advantage that he has, and we're going to make a beautiful switch back. He loses a lot of momentum because he stepped on the curb, and we're going to break early once again. He tried to make another switch back, and this time he loses even more momentum, and that allows us to get P5 on this Azerbaijan Grand Prix. P5 in a Tom Motorsport car. It's not every day that you hear this in my career mode series, but now Albon clears Stroll, and I decided that okay, that's a Red Bull. I'm not going to force my tires, and I'm going to let him go, because there's no point to battle him. And there's some point of battling Stroll and the likes of Gasly, but I think the Red Bull, there's no point in battling. And as you can see, I started to feel a little bit the tire wear as we have 7 laps to go, if I am not wrong. And look at the speed that Lance Stroll has at the end of lap 21, and he gets through into P7 and sets the fastest lap. And now Gasly with the soft comparative tires, and with a fresh set of softs, and me with a whole set of hard. So it's going to be quite a challenge to hold Gasly, because we have some laps to go, and he has a fresh set of soft tires, so it's going to be quite a task to hold the Frenchman. But we still have a battle here, because we are not done yet. We're going to have another second bite to the cherry on Lance Stroll, and here we go, try to go around the outside. This time we're not going to make the switch back, we're going to give him a little bit of a pinch, and we have the speed advantage. We managed to off braking, we has the nose in front, and that's us once again into P6 of this race at the streets of Baku. But things are not looking good for me, because I'm starting to run out a little bit of VRS and a little bit of fuel, so I need to be calm, but at the same time I need to hold these guys, and that are so much faster, and I'm starting to get a little bit nervous, not getting the turn in really right into the first corner. And look how much traction that Gasly has, and he dives on the inside, but we're going to make the switch back, and he hits the curb once again, like Stroll did a few laps later, a few laps before I should say, and we are back into P6. But Gasly is going to have another chance, because he has the slipstream, he has the DRS, and we're going to try to hold around that side. He steps on the curb once again, and that results in a little bit of understeer, and it turns a little bit into me, so a tiny bit of contact, but thankfully no front wing damage for any of us, and we're going to keep going. And we're survived once again, and we're still in P6, but we missed the first apex, as you can see in the chicane, and that is going to compromise our run, getting very slow in the exit. And Gasly, look at the traction that the AlphaTauri has, and he's going to get that position. I'm going to try to make once again the switch back, but it backs beautifully on the apex. Well fought from Gasly, and he gets up into P6. We're demoted once F1 position, but there's nothing that I can do. Look, the car is much stronger than us. We are in the position that this car shouldn't be at the moment. But here we are in the end of lap 24. As you can see, we are in P6 because I think someone pitted ahead of us. And I think it was committed to the 2-stop, so not the best strategy, but we still have some work to do because we have the pace to hold Stroll, and there he is going to dive down inside, but we're going to stretch our legs on the first braking zone of this circuit, and we managed to hold around the outside, so things are starting to get hot and hot in these closing stages of the Azerbaijan Grand Prix. And look at the slipstream of that Mercedes power, it's absolutely insane, even with the rich mix and the ERS enabled. And but we managed to stretch our legs once again into the first corner, and we live the fight for another day. But this is already the last lap, and Stroll is running out of opportunities. And maybe we can have a word. Sainz can have a word to say because he has the fastest lap, and this pace has been looking really good. And he's sitting behind for the whole stint behind us, but getting so close to the wall in the castle session. So I'm pushing as hard as I can to get a safe gap to Stroll because it's going to be down to the wire. Charles Leclerc wins the Grand Prix, so he defeats the Mercedes once again. He wins for Ferrari, so maybe the championship can start to be hotter and hotter between the Ferrari and Silver Arrows, but quite some gap. But Stroll going around the outside, but we step on the curb and we have a little bit of front wing damage, as you can see. Lime green damage, it's not that much damage, but now we are vulnerable to Daniel Kvyat on the medium tires. But Stroll, I think, is going to have it, yes, because we're struggling so much. We're 60% in the pre-year, so I think Stroll is going to get P6. But it was a crazy end of this Grand Prix. It was the last lap, it was the last corner, so gloves were off and I tried everything, but Stroll got his racing point up into P6. For us, it's going to be P7 nonetheless, which is going to be a really positive result for Tom Motorsport. Another positive day in the office.
That's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
Here we are then, it's victory in Azerbaijan. Great work from the whole team here at the track and back at the factory as well. And some pretty handy driving for good measure. Anthony Davidson, how do you think they were able to set themselves apart today?
It was a question of right place, right time today. We were looking at an entirely different race before the safety car came out, but they were able to take full advantage after the field had been bunched up.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today and a stunning win for Ferrari.
And once again, Baku never disappoints, and the reward is P7 after starting in P16. We took advantage of the 2 stoppers, which it wasn't the best strategy, and the DNFs of the guys in front of us. A huge scratch between Verstappen and Norris, which was spectacular. And yeah, another crazy Grand Prix. Luca unfortunately stick with the 2-stop, which I think it wasn't the best idea at all. In the championship standings, Hamilton stretched his lead, if I'm not wrong. No, I think Bottas finished ahead of him, but Charles Leclerc is getting closer and closer to this guy, so things can get really close in the championship, and we get up into P12. But now we have 17 points in our tally, so once again it was a very positive day in the office, in a crazy race once again at Azerbaijan. This circuit never disappoints when it comes to give good racing. In the constructor cell in P9, carrying the flag at the moment for the team, and Williams yet to score a point, and the Racing Point got a lot of points against Renault, and now they are in P5. But guys, that has been the episode 8 of my F1 2020 My Team Career Mode. I hope you guys enjoy. Make sure to smash like and subscribe if new to see plenty more Formula 1 content. It really motivates me to make more. And next episode is going to be the French Grand Prix at Paul Ricard, which is a track that I absolutely struggle, so I don't expect big things, but you never know. I wasn't expecting big things for this race, and look what happened. So fingers crossed it's going to be another positive episode, but for now, it's goodbye.